To me, shame feels like this pit in my stomach, this warning from my subconscious telling me that I was too vulnerable with other people. I let people see me and know me for who I really am, and that is too dangerous. So I have to stop. I need to hide to stay safe. What does shame feel like for you? Let me know in the comments below. Today's tarot reading focuses on painful stories that create an overactive shame response within us. After exploring these stories, I'll give you mantras to release these painful beliefs. I will say each mantra out loud and give time for you to repeat each one. Incorporating these mantras into your daily life will help keep shame in check once and for all. Let's get started. Wheel of Fortune. One of the painful stories that you're telling yourself in this area is that because I have failed in the past, that I cannot try again. This Wheel of Fortune is about chance. It's about sometimes being up, sometimes being down, knowing that there is a flow and a yin and yang in life. When you took this chance, this was done in a public way. Other people were witness to your failure. I think failure is hard for everyone, but when you have an overactive ego, the failures feel more detrimental. And a lot of times, like, we have that overactive sense of ego or that overinflated ego as a defense mechanism, as a way for us to try to protect ourselves and try to protect our feelings. We want to show everyone that we're strong. We want to show everyone that we're smart. We want to show everyone that we add value. Setbacks like this can hurt, and they can hurt bad enough that your subconscious stores them so that you never forget. And if you never forget, then you can never make the mistake again. But the subconscious is not rational. These are all the things I've learned. These are all the ways that I've expanded. These are all the ways that I've checked my ego. This is how I know that I can make a mistake and still be a good person. The subconscious doesn't factor any of that in. And so that's why this belief needs to come out, because a lot of the things that the subconscious holds on to is outdated. It's just outdated information. You don't want them to be repeated, but at the end of the day, you've grown. So that exact situation isn't going to repeat itself regardless. Spirit, how can we work through this fear of failure? Wild Rose Fairy, love. Just because we make a mistake doesn't mean that we are the mistake. Oh, everyone makes mistakes. Nobody's perfect. We're all human. And I never related to those sentiments. I just couldn't grasp it. I genuinely believed that if I yelled at myself more, berated myself more, basically traumatized myself enough, I would never make that mistake again. And that's like a really deep level of fear response, right? And so, like, that's how I went about my day in my life. Feeding that shame wizard, basically completely letting my subconscious run the show because I couldn't love my imperfect self. The worst things you've ever done in your life do not define who you are as a human being. There are many lovable qualities about you. It is very easy for us to define our self-worth based on what other people think of us, what we provide to other people, or how other people value us. And that's why when you make a mistake, it feels so detrimental, because it's like, oh my God, now people are gonna think I'm stupid. People are gonna think that I don't add any value. I'm gonna lose my friends. I'm gonna lose my job. I'm gonna lose my partner. It totally like runs amok because you're not deriving that value within yourself. And that's why it's so important to actually take inventory and say, these are the qualities I bring to the world. These are the things that I love about myself. And when you can balance that and really remember those things, making a mistake is nothing. Your mantra is, I show my mind, body, and spirit unconditional love. I show my mind, body, and spirit unconditional love. Spirit, what else is keeping us blocked? What else is keeping us blocked in our shame? 10 of Wands, feeling overwhelmed, feeling like the martyr. Some of you have a perpetual victim mentality when it comes to how you approach relationships, how you approach your life. Some of you feel like, why does it always have to happen to me? Why can't I ever be happy? Why can't I ever do what I want? Some of you are afraid to be happy. What if I put myself out there? What if I speak about what actually truly would make me happy? and it doesn't make me happy. It's this like fear of, man, it's a fear of failure on its face, but it's also like a deeper fear of defectiveness, like a fear of, what if there's nothing that will ever make me happy? What if I'm just not capable of being happy? So it's almost easier to never go after your happiness because then you don't fall short. You live in a place of perpetual unhappiness, so then you can stay safe. It's almost like the risk of trying and failing is greater than the risk of staying where you are. But you're not being true to yourself, and you're not taking a chance on yourself, and you're actually not getting to know yourself in a deeper way when you constantly internalize this martyr-like mentality. Spirit, how can we move past this? Raven Spirit, truth. Oh, I love that. Okay, so Spirit is encouraging you. Seek out your own personal truth. What is it that you think will make you happy? You don't have to know, and it doesn't have to be a guarantee. If you try it and you don't like it, that doesn't mean that you are defective. It doesn't mean that there's not anything that could ever make you happy. It just means that on this day, at this time, in this moment, this particular activity is not giving me a strong, positive emotional response. It has to be the right environment. Find that deeper truth of what makes you happy. Search for it. Search for it. You will find the truth. This is not about you having the inability to be happy. You can be happy. Your mantra is, I trust my heart to lead me to divine happiness. I trust my heart to lead me to divine happiness. King of Cups, but in the reverse came out. So some of you have shame around emotional extremes. Some of you feel like you're embarrassed at showing your emotions. Some of you definitely struggle with expressing yourself emotionally to other people. You keep it in, keep it in, keep it in. And then when you feel ready to let loose on someone, if this is ringing a bell, hit the like button. When you're ready to let loose, it ends up being the wrong time. There was a misunderstanding. You didn't realize where the other person was coming from. You kind of like built this story in your mind. Oh, this person responded to me with only one sentence, but the other person said the same exact thing, and they praised that person for giving that feedback when I gave the same exact feedback. And that must mean that this person doesn't value me, doesn't think that I'm smart, or doesn't like me. All of those times that you are deciding not to speak up and not to speak your mind and say your piece, someone is speaking up, but it's your subconscious and it's speaking to you and it's telling you these stories. The more you let your mind run wild with what those actions mean, the further away in some ways you get from reality. And I think part of you knows this, which is why it just makes you really uncomfortable when you speak your mind, because then by the time you do, other people are like, what? I don't understand you. I don't understand where you're coming from. And then you feel like no one understands me. This is how the subconscious amplifies and perpetuates stories that separate us from other people. That's because you allowed your subconscious to fill in the blanks for you instead of asking for clarification from other people. Whoa. That was Thicket of Thorns, Uncertainty. And Reflecting Pool, Stillness also came out. And Ancient Oak, Spirit, Strength. Spirit has a lot to say about this. So, Thicket of Thorns, Uncertainty. Part of the reason why you don't speak up in the first place is because you're not sure if you're right. It's okay for you to have a feeling, to ask for clarification, and then for someone to explain where they're coming from, and then for you to feel wrong. You definitely don't like to be wrong in front of other people. So like you're already in what you would consider a bad spot. But then once you get the clarification and you understand on an intellectual level that you shouldn't be upset by this interaction, it's hard for you to let go. It's hard for you to let go of like, oh, okay, that was just a misunderstanding. I'll give that person that grace. I'll give that person that benefit of the doubt. Okay, now that I know where that person's coming from, I know they really do love me or care about me. I don't need to hold this painful belief inside anymore. Which is what we also talked about in terms of the martyr mentality and feeling like you need to play the victim. So all of these are related for you. This is really important. Reflecting Pool, Stillness. This reflection, this self-reflection, this stillness, this hermit mode is going to give you the opportunity to see things clearly. You're going to be able to look at interactions more objectively. And not only that, but you're going to be able to look at yourself more objectively, understand your strengths, and be able to value and love yourself in this way. Self-love and acceptance. That's going to be the key for you to be able to release the martyr mentality, to release the fear of being wrong in front of someone else, and releasing the impulse to run away with interactions emotionally when they are vague. Your mantra is, I show my strength to others when I ask questions. I show my strength to others when I ask questions. Crippling self-doubt. I trust my heart to lead me to define happiness. Hey, that's not a bad one either. I trust my heart to lead me to define happiness.